from Latacunga, Ecuador. We are up early to go for a little hike. We're going to the Latacunga entrance to Cotopaxi, which is the most popular entrance. And I wasn't actually really interested in it because we'd already been to the south side of Cotopaxi. We stayed in that fantastic Airbnb, and then we went to the north side and we stayed at Hacienda El Porvenir, which was amazing. And so I thought, why do we need to go to another one? But it's the most popular entrance, and we're going to go to the Laguna Limpiopungo, which means pristine area. And I looked up pictures on Google, and actually it looks pretty spectacular. So I'm happy we're going. Alright, so park opens up at 8 a.m. They have the temperature here. It says it's 8 degrees. National parks are free here, but you do need to register. So there are a number of different things that you can do. There's a camping area, there's a botanical garden. There is also, you can climb to a refuge where you can actually see snow. There's a Paramo trail, and then we are actually going to do the lagoon right here. The lagoon trail, which they say takes an hour to an hour and a half.
La placa del vehículo. AVI 5825. Canadá, ¿no? Sí.
So there are a couple of ways that you can come to Cotopaxi. Now, if you're an independent traveler and you just want to take the bus here, you can't take the bus all the way here. So there is like an entrance before the entrance, so you can get there, and there are these white truck taxis that you'll find all over Ecuador. They will actually drive you to the entrance so you can register, and then to where you want to go. So whether it's here, the Laguna, or to the refuge. And Andreas said they used to be $5, but he's heard $5 each way. If you have a car and you just need a guide, also at the entrance you can hire a guide. So you could drive here, pick up a guide, and you can do this. So a lot of different options. Also, Andreas is about to make breakfast for us. Thanks. So I've been coming to Ecuador since 2010, and the previous times I loved this country, but I didn't go hiking, I didn't go see the volcanoes, and I spent a lot of time on the coast, visited the jungle a little bit. But I've got to say, seeing these mountains is so humbling. It's just, the views here are beautiful. So you've got Cotopaxi, which is considered female. Then you've got Chimborazo, which is considered male. You've got Rumiñahui. I don't know what Rumiñahui is considered. And then Tungaragua. I might be pronouncing that last one wrong. These are just 4 of many volcanoes here. Some of them are active, some inactive. Cotopaxi is an active volcano. So if it actually erupted, it would devastate the economy of Ecuador. It would also probably kill up to 2 million people in Quito. So far so good. All right, so this is the entrance of the hike. Not sure if all of this is going to be wooden planks, but guess what? I've got my hiking shoes on. Okay, first impressions here. Definitely prepare for all types of weather. It can rain at any point, any day in Ecuador. You definitely need a raincoat. I have a t-shirt, long sleeve shirt, and then 2 types of warm jackets as well. I took everything off except for the t-shirt and long sleeve shirt because it is quite warm today. You also need sunscreen because radiation here is fierce. You need bug spray because we are right next to a lagoon, and then you do need a hat. I used to hate wearing a hat before coming to Ecuador. Now I have 2. I'm gonna buy 3. This is like my cold weather hat. I have a coastal warm weather hat, and I'm gonna buy another hat because you really do need them to protect your face from the sun. So this is a páramo, which is considered moorland. And so this lagoon actually used to be much, much bigger. But the impact of farming in this area, so the streams that would normally come down Cotopaxi into this lagoon are now being redirected for farmland. So this lagoon is getting smaller and smaller. And Cotopaxi is actually a huge source of water for the people who live below. It's just sad. We always think as farming as like such a good thing. Of course, people need to feed themselves, but also we need to do it responsibly because, you know, the simple act of redirecting some of those rivers is impacting this lagoon and all the wildlife in it. These are my favorite flowers in the area. They're called spears of fire or chucaragua, and I love the little fiery tips. However, the actual green part is almost thorny, so don't touch it. But the interesting thing here is that you can make a tea out of it that helps you with altitude sickness. So one of the most interesting things about Ecuador that I don't know if it exists anywhere else in the world is that here nature has a right. And so that is not just symbolic. It actually has, you know, legal and financial implications. So that means a portion of the annual budget needs to go to nature. It also means that activists can fight on behalf of nature legally. It also, for me, gives a source of pride for people that this is something that needs to be respected because the indigenous peoples in Ecuador have this close relationship to nature and have this respect, but that must continue because basically we're on their land. And it also means that there needs to be a balance. So when you look at these rural areas, people who live here, they do want good roads, access to clean water. They do need to have a life that has a bit of modernization like you would get in the city, but it has to be balanced with how that impacts nature. And so that's a constant battle in Ecuador, is how do you achieve both? So if you're looking to do a walk, this is actually pretty easy. I would say most of it is pretty flat. And then there's a little bit of an uphill over there, enough to get your heart rate going. But otherwise, it's just quite nice. We saw there are some other bird watchers here. And Andreas said that he's seen 15 birds here. However, compared to Cajas, he said these are scaredy birds. And that in Cajas, you almost have to kick them out of the way because there are so many. And here, they're a little bit more timid, harder to find. A lot of people know me as someone who doesn't like to hike. I always say, I'll meet you at the bottom of the hill with a glass of wine in hand. A lot of that changed during the pandemic. I think I took things for granted, and I don't know, I said, you know, if I get the opportunity to travel again, I'm going to do it differently. And so within Nova Scotia, I was home for 18 months, started hiking there, going outside, learning to enjoy the winter, and then coming here and having the opportunity to have such a good friend that is a guide and spend so much time hiking has really changed things for me. I was definitely missing out on things when I came to Ecuador before. Okay, so it is 20 after 10 and can already see the dark clouds coming in. So I do recommend arriving for when it opens, 8 a.m. The weather has already gotten quite a bit cooler and it's rainy season. It's mid-March. So yes, it's good to come early during rainy season, but actually Andreas was saying the weather here overall is unpredictable and depends on what's happening throughout Ecuador. So it's just good to get here early. Otherwise, you're definitely going to need to pull out your raincoat. And one piece of crucial advice, especially if you're a woman, if you have to pee, you have to go at the entrance. There is no washroom here at the lagoon, and all of the plant life here is very short. So you're gonna have to hold it for a long time. I am learning that lesson right now. The best part about coming with a guide is they are prepared. I was just gonna sit on my butt for breakfast. Okay, so when Andreas says we're going to have a picnic lunch, he really means it. It's not just like a sandwich he packed a couple of hours ago. We have steak sandwich with guacamole, tomatoes, peppers, and then some cheese on brioche bread. This is gonna be good.
And coffee.
And coffee, except we forgot the coffee. Alright, I think we're gonna make it before the rain. This was a fantastic morning, totally unexpected. The views here, beautiful. Also, super easy hike if you want to see Cotopaxi. Stick around. The next video is all about the Papayacta thermal pools.